Welcome to Life Outside the Box. On our program, we showcase different individuals and how they are able to thrive despite a variety of health and life challenges that have affected them and continue to impact them. Through my own battles with injuries and life-threatening illness, I often felt alone in my struggles and wished for someone to relate to. My hope is that Life Outside the Box can show you with real-life examples that people are thriving in sometimes less than conventional ways. I'm excited to introduce you to my guest, Kyle Delange. After Kyle graduated high school, he faced some true life challenges with an addiction to crystal meth. Kyle's courage in sharing his story and what it's like going through the struggles he faced is mind-blowing. His story is so authentic, impactful, and raw. His courage to overcome is so inspiring. For anyone who has known someone whose life has been affected by substance abuse, I strongly encourage you to share this video with them. We'll see you after the break. Welcome everybody. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Kyle. Kyle, now why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Kyle, and I'm 41 years old. I grew up in Chilliwack my whole life. I have a kind of recent wife. We have 5 kids together, a blended family.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 3 years for that.
Oh, wow.
And I own my own business. It's called Delange Industries. We do custom tarps and we do hydraulics.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've done a tarp for my dad.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I did his RV awning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so, and that's pretty much, that's all right now, I guess.
Well, why don't we just jump into the reason why we're here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you had quite a health journey
I did, yeah.
quite a while ago, actually.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about that and when did that journey begin?
Sure. I would say that it was a small chapter in my life, right? And I would have began shortly after high school, after graduating high school.
Okay.
I got myself into crystal meth addiction.
Wow.
Yeah, so crystal meth is a pretty heavy drug to get into, and
Yeah. How old were you when you?
I would say 19.
Okay.
Yeah. 19 years old when I started, and yeah, like, I don't really.
Quite the journey, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was quite the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
So where did all these events start happening? Like.
So after high school, I don't have the best memory. Like, we're talking 21 years ago.
Yeah.
But I just was hanging out with the wrong friends, and I'm actually still friends with them today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're clean too.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
I would say lack of knowledge is what got me into it. Mm-hmm. Just hanging out with them for months and months, only to find out that they've been high on this drug the whole time.
Wow.
That I've known them.
You didn't even know.
I didn't know, right?
You just thought you were out having drinks and everyone was just
we were just hanging
having
out
fun.
daily, but I didn't see the ugly part of the drug side either because we didn't live together. I lived with my parents.
Yeah.
Right? So that would, I say, be the reason why I did the first line of crystal meth. And so the first time I did it, felt confident, almost like a little part that was missing was there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to overpraise the drug and say it was the best feeling ever or anything, because it's just like hell is what it really is, and it's all fake. Mm-hmm. So after my first experience on it, I'll never forget the following morning. The following morning, I woke up. I didn't wake up. I didn't even sleep that night. I was just kind of went through the motions of the drug wearing off. Right. And I was so confused and so distraught. And I remember grabbing my head and pacing back and forth And just like, I didn't even know what was going on. It was so confusing. Like, this drug really messed me up.
Yeah, the next day.
Yes, the next day. And I remember my friend.
Friend then.
Yeah. Anyway, he held the line up to me and he said, do this. It'll make you feel better.
Oh.
And I just said, no flipping way. I never want to see this stuff again in my life. He's like, it'll make you feel better. And man, the way I felt better seemed pretty good to me.
Yeah.
So I did it. And you know what? I felt better.
Yeah.
I felt normal. I felt normal again.
Okay.
Like I was like, whew, okay. Not high.
No.
Just normal.
So not like the first time.
Yes, the first time you did it, like you're flying up here, and then you're so far down from coming down, and then now you do it to feel normal.
Whoa.
And then like, you know, normal, and then the next time is normal.
But normal. Not like before. Oh,
normal
wow.
gets
so
a
your
whole
normal
lot
changes.
lower real quick.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't feel normal. It's not like you felt normal like you did before you started the drug.
Right.
It's like you just felt normal after.
Yeah.
The whole crash of it all.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And getting into this drug really deep, I started, like, my life changed really fast. Yeah. Like, really fast. Just so dark. Like, I don't know how to... I'd say I was a pretty selfish person before I did drugs. Okay. For sure. I wasn't kind. I was kind of a bully. And I was kind of just a miserable kid. If I look back, you know, I was a pretty miserable person. And I wasn't a good kid. I was kind of bad, you know? Yeah. And so just this drug just took me to a whole new level. I got darker and darker and darker. Like, we're talking like meditation on murder. Oh. And like, you're just like a walking demon. Like I just wanted to kill everybody and everything. And I hung out. All my friends were pushed away at this point, and
good friends.
Yeah, you're hanging out with people who I'd say they could come across as murderers. I don't know if they've killed or not, but I would say they're definitely in that crowd. Yeah. Of people, like, very, just not a good place to be in your life. And I stood in that lifestyle for about a year. From what I can remember, it was a good year.
So like in that same level.
Yeah, like just really dark, and then some pretty deep paranoia and fear, and all this part of the drug comes in, it just started destroying me, like, as a person, right? And like, I lived with my parents the whole time. Yeah.
Did it affect them at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. Okay. I can't speak for them.
Okay.
But yeah, it definitely did. And I remember hating them, like, with passion. I honestly remember meditating on murdering them. Oh. Right? Oh
my gosh, I can't imagine.
Oh, you hear the saying, crystal meth will make you hate the people you love and love the people you hate. And that is so true in this case, for sure. So, but that all changed very quickly when I kind of got towards rock bottom. Okay. Right? Now, I never lived on the streets. No. But I would say emotionally, physically, like, we're talking 120 pounds, cheeks like indented. Wow. Like, I would throw my bag of crystal meth. Crystal meth was pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. Like, I was living at home. Money wasn't the biggest problem, but I would throw my bag away at night and flush it down the toilet. Okay. Because I thought that was the night I die. What? Yeah. And then I didn't want anybody, like, I was gonna fool people. Yeah. Like, I didn't want anybody to think if I died, I didn't want to be remembered as the guy who was addicted to drugs. Aww. So that's why I flushed it down every night. Oh, and then the next morning I'd go to my dealer and buy $10 worth or something to get me through that day, right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
So when you hit your rock bottom, is that where you, like, from there, did you start moving upwards, or was it just like the worst rock bottom?
Yeah. So, like, well, like, I mean, where do you go from rock bottom? Yeah. Right? You start. I started looking up. Okay. Right? Yeah. And when I say looking up, I'm talking about to God. Yeah. Now, I grew up in a Christian home. Mm-hmm. And I went to a Christian school, Yeah. But God never meant anything to me. I never followed him. I never paid attention to him.
Just part of your routine.
If anything, he was just kind of in my way.
Okay.
You know, like
telling you not to do stuff.
Yeah, like, I want to smoke cigarettes. I want to drink and get drunk with my friends, and I don't want to do anything God's way. Mm-hmm. So that's all God was to me, and yeah, it was more of a religion, I would say, like kind of like a Pharisee.
Okay.
Right? Like kind of what Jesus actually came to abolish and get rid of.
Okay.
So anyway, I started looking up, and I remember vaguely, like we're talking 21 years ago, crying out a lot and just knowing I needed out of this. Yeah. And like I got on my knees one night and I grabbed that Bible and I just prayed to God, like from the bottom of my heart in full desperation. Yeah. And I opened up his word and I just started reading it, and it was somewhere in Jeremiah, and it scared me. What I read really, really scared me. Like it felt really real to me. Mm-hmm. And after that, I continued using the drug because I couldn't get off of it. Crystal meth is crazy. Like you don't just quit this drug. So I continued it, but I also I became obsessed with the Bible. Okay. Like obsessed. Like it's all I did. I went to work. Yeah. I read the Bible when I got home until I went to bed. I wrote. I was doing everything. I was seeking God. Mm-hmm. Like I was seeking God, and I was completely messed up. I was high, but I was seeking Him. Wow. Like totally. And
just hyper focused on it.
Yeah, just hyper focused on it, and just like completely obsessed. And one day at the lumber mill, I'll never forget this day because this is the day that my life changed drastically forever. Okay. I was sitting there, and I'm telling you, God like put that Holy Spirit in me. Mm-hmm. He did, and I remember like I felt it. I knew why we were here. I knew the reason of life on Earth. I knew like everything. Like I didn't know everything. No, but that sounds so arrogant.
But you felt like you were aware of
about everything. Like I just like I was like, this is. I remember saying, open. This is it. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is it. I found God. I'm like, I found Jesus. Like now I know what people mean when they say I found God. You know how many times you hear that?
Oh yeah.
And like you don't really think much of it, but like when you actually find it, you do. It's like holy cow. And I never touched the drug again after that for a long time, right? Like Jesus completely changed who I was. Like I wasn't this hatred guy. My heart was so soft. Like I was just like on fire for Him.
So did an event happen at the lumber mill, or it was just like you just had this open?
I just started working harder and smiling and just talking to God, and like I'm like just man, I was having a relationship. Wow. Yeah. So it wasn't like a.
And at this time, were you still like doing drugs as well, or were you?
That's when I quit. That's when
you kind of quit.
That's when I just quit. I just walked away, and I never touched it again.
And did you go?
Well, I did actually, but sorry, but like for the following 3 months, there's like two short chapters. It's like drugs before Jesus and drugs after Jesus. Yeah. I should actually write a book about it.
Yeah, you should.
My goodness, because it's just insane. Like, so I just loved how Jesus changed my life. 100% when that happened, and it was a short-lived 3-month period, and I was just like on top of the world. I felt like anyway. Oh. Yeah, and
who was your biggest advocate around that time?
You know,
there was a person attached to it, or if it was just your faith.
I would say the second part of my addiction, there would be more advocates in it. Okay. But the first half, like I was so dark, I was so evil, I just pushed everybody away. Mm-hmm. You know, I could say my parents because they never kicked me out of the house.
So they
right,
they held on to that rope.
They should have. If my kids do that, I'm kicking them out.
Oh,
I'm not putting up with that.
Okay.
I don't know how they did it. Crazy. Good for them. That's awesome. But like they didn't kick me out, and maybe that's why I'm alive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm alive because of Christ. And what happened there, but like maybe I would have been in a situation on the street that would have taken my life beforehand. Like who knows?
So their unconditional love, like obviously it was unconditional.
Yeah,
Like truly was it?
yeah.
Because
We didn't talk to each other or anything.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't reaching out to anybody
No.
or talking to anyone. It was just I kind of felt on my own there. I pushed everybody away. I was in my addiction myself.
Wow.
So, but the second part of the addiction, I'd say there would be advocates. But I just remember 3 months after being sober and clean and like shining. You know, they people call it shining.
Yeah.
I just curiosity got the best of me. Like I just say like Jesus changes your life, but I mean not everything gets fixed perfectly.
You're not perfect.
You know, you're still living. You still have choices to make, and I am the king of poor choices. You want to talk about a guy who makes all the wrong choices? It's me.
Okay.
So man, so yeah, like after the fact of being saved and delivered from that, I am stupid enough to go back and do it again.
That's a test. You probably were like, let's see how I do now.
Exactly.
Like
I
felt so powerful, and then all of a sudden you're like, I could do this.
Exactly.
Jesus got my back.
You know what? That is so true, and and I remember thinking that too. Like I remember talking to God about doing it.
Oh wow.
And thinking that this was okay. And you know what? I felt like I didn't get high. Like I remember that when the second I did that line, I knew I made the biggest mistake of my life.
Okay.
Because the energy levels in me dropped drastically. And like I just felt so much darkness come over me. Like it was I'll never forget that feeling as long as I live either. Like that was just a whole other experience. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I got scared and I immediately said, I'm so sorry. Like, what did I do? Like, I just instant regret, instant regret, instant remorse. Yeah. And so from that point on, just very slowly downward spiral into probably another 2 to 3 years of addiction.
Oh, shoot.
But seeking help. Like, there was no murderous thoughts. It was all sadness. It was all like I'm sorry, like I want to get out of this, and like you're almost a lot more humble when you're using the drug, knowing Jesus. Like I know it sounds so bad because you get this thing that changes your life,
well, you're not
still,
we're not expected to be perfect either.
No,
like that's not a possibility, right? So
but I was really stuck. And I was going to church. So to answer your previous question, who my advocate was, I would say on the second part, there was a pastor Mike from Heartland Fellowship.
Okay.
Who was really supportive, and I would go to that church, and I would go to that church high, and I remember they would pray for me. Wow. There was some sweet people there, and ultimately it just came down to me deciding I needed to go to rehab.
Wow.
To get that help.
Just right there.
I kept trying to do it the way it happened the first time, but it just wasn't happening.
It wasn't,
I needed to make the choice, a smart choice for once in my life, to go to rehab.
Wow.
And I decided to do that.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Well, I would love to hear more about that part, but we're going to do that right after the break.
Sure.
Okay? We'll see you in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. So Kyle, let's dive right in. You were talking about going to rehab at the last point that we talked.
Yeah, I made a decision to go to rehab.
Okay. How was that?
Yeah, rehab was interesting. I felt more like I just needed a place to be long enough to withdraw and get completely free of the drug, because I knew it's not what I wanted. I knew from the day I did it again that it's not what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
And it took 2 years to get to the point that I was going to go to rehab.
Okay.
So in rehab, there was a lot of inspiration there to quit. And one of the biggest inspirations was seeing people in there for like their 12th time, even their 5th time. People in there who have been celebrating 18 years clean, which is great, and that's good. It's just, I knew, like, right then and there, that's not what I wanted. Like, I did not want to be doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
So, I made a decision to quit, and I stayed quit. So
amazing. So was there like medical help and stuff like that there? Was there counseling, or was there lots
of counseling, and then you did some schooling. So it was a 12-step program. That was government. I just did it because it was free. Okay. Right? Yeah. And it was only 10 weeks. I didn't want to be in a year-long program, which probably should have gone to a year-long program. Okay. But at the time when you're younger like that, you don't really think wisely. Yeah, especially you're probably like, well, I have to work. And especially when you're high on meth. Yeah. So, yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But anyway, it worked out, and I always kept my faith in God. And I remember my counselor saying to, hold on to your faith. It's what's going to get you through. Wow. And he was speaking to me like it was almost a hobby. Oh. Right. Like I think a lot of people
like
do.
Faith is a hobby.
Yeah, like that works for you. So hold on to that. That's great. That works for you. But it's like, I don't like when people say that. Yeah. Just because they don't understand it makes me almost sad. But yeah, it's deeper than that. It is so much deeper than that. And it's like, hey man, this would work for you too. Like you have no idea. Like,
for sure. Yeah. But someone has to come in their own journey to get to that point for sure. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, he just said that, and I said, yeah, of course I agreed with him, obviously.
Yeah. Hold on to your faith for sure.
And I did, and I graduated rehab after 10 weeks. I went back to work and carried on with my life, carried on making horrible decisions, but I never did hard drugs. I did recreationally use, I would say, cocaine. Okay. For a short period afterwards.
But never crystal meth.
Never crystal meth. Okay. Cocaine's really bad too. And I dabbled in a bunch of stuff like ecstasy. Yeah. And I don't know what I was doing. Just bad choice after bad choice. And
just like even, night of drinking.
Yeah. And toxic relationships. Okay, yeah. And, but always with Christ. And like always remorseful. Always just like, man, if I had just been wiser in my choices, I would have spent a lot less time on my knees asking God to forgive me, like over and over again.
Yeah, if you just committed and made a decision to just...
But I was stubborn, and I don't know what my determination to rebel against the one who saved me was for so long, but, He's merciful, and I'm here today, and I'm so thankful. Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful he never gave up on me, and he was always there, Yeah. So, God is good.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's really good. So
good. Mm-hmm. So after you went to rehab, you've been clean ever since. Is that right? Like you said, like you did recreational here and there, and then...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, clean ever since that. So...
so good. So if you were to... I did want to touch on a little bit, the impact, and who was your biggest advocate around that time? So you went to rehab, and then you had that counselor, and he did say, hold on to your faith. Is there anybody else that you could kind of think about that might have been there advocating for you besides your parents, of course, because they've kind of held on to your rope the whole entire time?
Yeah. I would say I can't think of anybody in particular. Okay. I burnt so many bridges through my addiction. I don't know. I guess I just looked for relationships to fill that void of loneliness. We're talking after rehab? Yeah. Yeah, and I just kind of shifted the focus on other dumb stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But always going to church, and I never stopped thinking about God every day. I always talk to him, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm doing this. And just, the Bible actually talks about, I'm pretty sure it's Paul in Romans, talks about doing things that we hate. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how much I can relate to that. The things that I don't want to do, I do. The things I do want to do, I can't, and all that stuff, right? So I can relate to that guy on that level. So a big part of my life was that. And
amazing. So the Bible pretty much was your biggest advocate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say, Yeah.
To the word.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I didn't lead a good example of a Christian for a long time. But today, my wife, by far,
Yeah.
100%, yeah. And pastors, like, from churches, going to church consistently always helped. And my best friend, your cousin.
Oh, there you go.
So they're through it all, right?
Yeah.
But also himself into trouble too. Like, when you're both falling, you can't both get up. So yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So
amazing. So if you were to think of any type of like advice that you would give to someone who went to any stage that you've been through, so like whether it was before Jesus, after Jesus, all the things, what is something that you would give them as far as advice is concerned?
Like somebody who's addicted?
Yeah, someone who's struggling with addiction, any type, I guess, or even maybe specifically crystal meth, but
yeah.
Any addiction.
You know what? I would say, like, a lot of people I find in addiction, there's two types: people who want out and people who are comfortable there.
Okay.
And if you're comfortable there, I don't know, what can you do?
Yeah.
Right?
They don't want to be clean, so
yeah. The ones who want out, there's so many resources available. I personally would highly recommend Teen Challenge.
Okay.
It's a rehab.
Yeah.
And it's a faith-based one.
Okay.
And the last time when I was in rehab, they were sharing statistics, and the statistics of the government-funded rehab without God was the first in the first 3 months that you graduate from that, 95% of the people will relapse and fail.
Oh, whoa.
Whereas Teen Challenge is the complete opposite. Only 5% of people relapse and fail.
Okay, and so you said Teen Challenge. So is it just for teens, or is it for...
No, it's not for teens. It's for all ages, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I would just recommend getting into a rehab facility, getting cleaned up. There's hope.
Yeah.
And there's a huge life so much better than a drug-addicted one, for sure. It's definitely not the best way to go. And our church, actually, Main Street Church, they have a program on Mondays.
Okay.
It's a recovery program. It's actually becoming extremely popular and quite large.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And is it for all types of addictions?
Yeah, it's for all types of addictions, including addiction to anger. Whatever.
Amazing.
Yeah, so.
What about chapstick?
Absolutely. No, actually, though.
I do have a chapstick addiction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, I could have used that addiction.
Well, there you go.
21 years ago instead of this one.
Replace it with one?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like the worst one.
Yeah. But that's good. That's great information to have, for sure.
Other than that, you got to want it, right? Magic is not going to fall from heaven. Like, even for me, like the way I was saved, it's good, but I seeked God. The Bible even says, you will seek me and you will find me when you seek me with all your heart. And that was my favorite Bible verse that I found years later, because that's what happened to me.
Wow.
Like, even as a mess, don't clean yourself up and come to Christ. Come to Christ messy, messed up. He loves you as you are.
Yeah.
And he'll change your life.
Yeah, everyone always thinks that, I'm going to go there and I'm going to have to be perfect.
Yeah, no.
Or I need to be ready. I need to have all my ducks in a row, and then I'll seek him.
It's the opposite. You'll never get cleaned up without him.
Wow.
So that would be my advice to people who are stuck in addiction.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And what about, so if you were to give some advice to people who have friends or family who are going through that situation, like, what kind of advice would you give to them?
Don't give them money.
Okay.
They ask.
Okay. Say no.
I don't know. That's a tough one. My wife and I were a blended family, and we feel so much better when we can relate to other blended families. Yeah. So I would say, if you can find people you can relate to with and talk to them, that in itself would probably help you immensely.
Yeah.
Right?
So find
just
maybe
finding
form
people
your
you can
own
relate
group that,
to, and like you're not alone on this. Like you're not the only one watching your children go through this.
Yeah.
And like you can pray for them, you can support them, you can help them get into rehab, plant seeds to go into rehab.
I like that.
Yeah.
Plant seeds. I think that's amazing.
I would say the biggest thing would be to educate your kid on the drug before they even do it, so they won't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Like I drill into my kids, like I'm not keeping my story shy from them at all.
Good.
I
Good for
drill
you.
into them what happened.
A lot of people like take that and are like, oh, let's not say anything to my kids about, oh, I didn't do anything bad. I'm perfect. And so you're going to be perfect.
Yeah. So I'm praying and hoping that they could just make a better decision than I made.
And they can learn from your mistakes too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like if you look at other people and they've gone through something and sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then you might just. Yeah. For sure. Wow. So that's all I can say. I've never gone through that as a parent, but. Yeah. So. Hopefully you never do. And. Yeah. Yeah. One can hope. Yeah. This is amazing. What a great story. And I really want to thank you because like this is a very vulnerable conversation, and just being able to like express all the things that you've expressed in this whole segment is pretty awesome. Thanks. So thank you for coming. You're welcome. And we'll talk to you guys after the break. Welcome back. I really enjoyed the conversation with Cal. It is so amazing how he was able to overcome a serious addiction to this deadly drug. One of my favorite parts about his story is hearing that Cal's ability to hold on to his faith was a huge contributing factor in his ability to heal. And his words of encouragement for everyone to educate their kids on the danger of drugs is an important takeaway. It also puts it in perspective the proactive approach needed to overcome life's challenges. Cal has been clean from hard drugs for 15 years, thriving with his amazing wife, 5 children, and 2 dogs. He currently has a successful family-run business since 2008. What an amazing life journey, and now he is able to focus on the things that matter most in his life. Cal mentioned to me that if there's anyone that would like to reach out to him, he would love to speak to you. I've included his email here for you. Our interviews are all about bringing hope and encouragement that you're not alone in your health and life journey. Thank you for watching. I look forward to introducing you to another amazing guest next time. Until then, remember, you're in control. You can expand your own horizons and live outside the box you may find yourself in. We'll see you soon.